Wife left me for another man when I got sick, then tried to get back with me when she found out I recovered and came into money. I, a 47-year-old male, have been going through an emotional turmoil in my life recently. My wife turned against me and started seeing another man after she got to know that I'm suffering from a terminal illness. It all started around a year back. I collapsed in my office and was rushed to the ER. A series of tedious medical tests were conducted, and later I was diagnosed with a serious illness, a liver infection. If left untreated, it might turn terminal for me. My wife was out of town attending her friend's wedding at that time. I didn't tell her about this over the call because I didn't want to freak her out. When she came back and found me pale in illness, I had to tell her everything. She was shocked, but I didn't get the warmth I was expecting from her after knowing about such severe illness. I won't say she was cold, but I felt she was more disappointed rather than sad or upset. I felt like the disease was due to my mistake or something. Anyways, I focused on my healing and remained positive. It was becoming difficult for me to juggle my work and my health. I was advised of major lifestyle changes in my diet and exercise. With this new routine, it was difficult for me to work efficiently at work, yet I tried my best to balance them. Meanwhile, I found my wife drifting away from me. She was not as close as she used to be. Whenever I wanted to be intimate with her, she would ask me to rest or would say that she was tired. It was bothering me, and I confronted her. She said she was just stressed out because of my illness, but I highly doubted that, because out of concern, you don't push away the person, and she was doing that. To distract myself from all this stress, I got indulged at work. I got so busy that I missed following my diet routine, and sometimes I even missed taking my medicines. Obviously, that had to come back and bite me, and it did. I again fell severely sick and had to be rushed to the hospital. This time my wife saw everything I've been through. She took good care of me. I had to be hospitalized for a week this time, and the doctor told me clearly that I have to take my health seriously, else the situation would run out of control. I was advised to take a leave from work and rest because work was making things worse for me. Taking a leave from work was just not possible for me. Actually, you see, I don't work for any random corporate or so. The company I work for is of my close friends. He had started it during college. He asked me to join at that time, but I wasn't sure if it would fly, so I took up a job instead. But some 5 to 6 years later, when his company solidified, he offered me a senior position with good pay. I joined. Since then I have considered the company to be mine, and I personally take responsibility for its growth. I took a few days off and then resumed work. One day, I was talking to the doctor on the phone about my report, and my friend, the founder and CEO of the company, heard me talking about it. He was furious with me for not telling him about my health and for working extra hours for the company. When I told him about my condition, I told him that I might not be able to return to work for a while, so I want to work as many months a year as I can to secure my family's future. I had not shared this with anyone, not even my wife, but I was feeling unwell and I wanted to accumulate as much money as possible to help my wife live a decent life. I got emotional discussing this with my friend, and he assured me that God forbids if anything happened to me, he would take care of my family's finances. That was a huge assurance for me, but I didn't want to burden him. But he insisted that I'd take a sabbatical from work without a pay cut for 6 months, and if I really wanted, I could work sometimes from home. I went home and told my wife that I won't be going to work from next day. Before I could tell her the entire stuff, she asked me if I was fired. I gave her a sarcastic look and said yes because of my deteriorating health condition. I wanted to lighten the situation by pulling up this prank. Her first reaction to this was, "Are you dying?" That broke my heart. How could she be so insensitive? But I played along and said yes. She was like, "How long?" I said, "I don't know." The doctor said maybe 6 to 7 months or sooner. I thought she would break into tears and all that, and I would crack up. But her reaction was very cold. She was like, "How would I manage my finances? You don't have enough savings to cover for me." That's why I've been telling you to leave your friend's company and take a job overseas that pays better. We could have acquired enough wealth by now for me to lead a decent life. The bottom line is, she wasn't bothered that I was dying. She was worried that I was dying poor and not leaving anything for her. I wanted to comfort her and tell her about my ownership of the company, which would help her live a comfortable life in the event that I passed away. But I refrained. I wanted to see what she would do next. I believe I left out the part about the substantial equity I was given in the company when we were able to reach our first major milestone. The amount is currently close to $1.1 million, and it will grow even more as the business expands, as I'm sure it would. Since then, my married life has come to a standstill. All of the conversations have become transactional. and she doesn't even inquire about my health. I observe her leaving the house early in the morning and returning late at night, most of the time eating out. In either case, she doesn't have a full-time job. She works as a nail technician at a salon during peak. Then last month, she came and asked me when we were getting divorced. My world crushed. Divorce is the last thing I want to deal with in this health condition. I was lost for words. She said there's nothing to be shocked about. She has to move on, and it's better that she starts distancing herself from me. I sarcastically asked her if she has already found my replacement. She nodded and said yes. It was a guy she had known for some time, but now she has started seeing him as a potential partner and going on dates with him. I really can't explain the feeling I went through that day. I felt a pit in my stomach. I felt my marriage was a sham. I have discussed this with my friend, and he asked me to remove my wife. Well, I don't want to discuss this with anyone else. I think that was enough for me. The bottom line is, I'm still fighting for my life, and this happened. I want advice on what should I do, either emotionally or legally. After my wife dropped the bombshell of wanting a divorce and revealing she had already found someone else, I was left in a state of shock and disbelief. I had the impression that the earth had collapsed under me. I never thought my already troubled marriage would take such a drastic turn because of my health problems. I tried to take it all in over the next few days. I contacted the CEO, a friend who had helped me along the way with my health. He urged me to put my health first and gave me his word that the company's stock would protect my family's future. On the other hand, I was emotionally struggling with my marriage's abrupt breakdown. My wife's demeanor grew more aloof as the days went by. Despite sharing a roof, we didn't feel like we knew one another. We didn't have many conversations, and when we did, it was treated with disinterest. How someone with whom I had spent so much of my life could grow so aloof baffled me. I plucked up the guts to speak openly with her one day. I was interested in learning about her viewpoint, her motivations for getting a divorce, and why she had already moved on to someone else. She gave a startlingly detached and pragmatic response. She stated that she needed to protect her financial future since she felt that my health problems were becoming a burden. She seemed to take notice when the company's equity was brought up, but she didn't change her mind. Physically and emotionally exhausted, I made the decision to consult a lawyer, to learn more about my rights and the potential effects of a divorce. Particularly with regard to the assets I had accumulated, I spoke with a lawyer. The attorney discussed the various legal procedures and recommended mediation as a means of resolving disputes about property partition and other issues. I started going to counseling sessions at the same time to help me deal with the emotional upheaval. Having the assistance of a mental health expert gave me a secure environment in which to communicate my emotions and get direction for overcoming this difficult time. As the emotional and legal details came to light, I came to see how critical it was to put my health first. I kept my attention on my health, followed the instructions of the doctors, and worked on building my emotional toughness. There would be legal battles and personal mending ahead, making the trip unclear. It became clear that in order to successfully manage the difficult obstacles that lay ahead, I would need to surround myself with a support network consisting of friends, family, and experts. It's vital to keep in mind that in such trying times, getting competent counsel, both legal and emotional, can be essential. Furthermore, drawing strength from a network of support might help confront future uncertainties. I made the decision to take charge of my life and make decisions that were in line with my well-being in the middle of this emotional turmoil. The assistance I received from friends and family was crucial in enabling me to manage my health concerns and the complexities of a divorce. Sessions of mediation were held after the judicial process was started. It was a difficult procedure that involved talks and agreements over the fair distribution of assets. What I had thought of as a safety net for my family, my stake in the company, turned into a major source of conflict. But with the help of my legal counsel, we were able to work toward a resolution that would protect my family's future as well as my financial security. At the same time, my attention was always fixed on my health. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle, following prescribed treatments, and getting regular checkups from the doctor became essential. Despite the psychological burden of going through a divorce and dealing with health issues, I continued to be committed to my own well-being. Having a therapist by your side throughout this time was really helpful. It gave me a secure environment in which to process my loss, vent my feelings, and create coping mechanisms. My road towards emotional healing coincided with the legal proceedings, and I gradually gained resilience by embracing the changes that life had thrown at me. My friend the CEO proved to be an unexpected ally as the divorce process progressed. He continued to be a source of support and direction even if the breakdown of the firm equity put strain on our friendship. I was relieved when he promised to support the financial issues for my family. The major obstacle I faced was reorganizing my life following the divorce. A new chapter began when I decided to sell the house we used to share and look for a new place for myself. It became therapeutic to design a room that represented who I was and made me feel at ease. Even while I fought the emotional and legal battles, I came to terms with the thought of going forward. It was a difficult trip filled with reflection, self-awareness, and resiliency. Although the wounds from betrayal and divorce persisted, I was able to reconstruct my life with greater clarity every day. The divorce processes have come to an end as I write this update. Now that the legal maze has been cleared, I'm about to start a new chapter in my life. The network of people who stood by me during this hardship is still proof of the strength that comes from caring people. I have a cautious sense of optimism for the future. Even though the wounds might never completely heal, I'm resolved to live a life that puts my health and development first. My resilience has been sculpted by the lessons I've learned from this turbulent path, and I'm prepared to take on any challenges that lie ahead. Following the divorce process, I had a mixture of relief and trepidation. The legal disputes were over, but the emotional fallout continued. The next stage of my journey was adjusting to the new normal in terms of both personal and professional dynamics. Making the decision to move and sell the house was difficult but liberating. It symbolized the end of a chapter in my life that had been clouded by heartache and treachery. Making a new place for myself turned into a therapeutic procedure that helped me recover my identity and independence. The reorganization of the company's equity resulted in a notable change in the field. My essential tasks were still in place, even though the financial parts were being adjusted. It was a chance for me to demonstrate my tenacity and commitment to the company in spite of the difficulties in my personal life. My health remained my top priority at this time. Following medical advice and getting regular checkups was essential. The psychological and physical toll that the previous events took highlighted how crucial it is to take care of oneself and lead a healthy lifestyle. After everything had settled, I thought about starting over in my personal life. Although the scars were still healing, the possibility of finding happiness and companionship again was becoming closer. My family and friends, who had been my pillars of support the entire time, urged me to take chances and seize the opportunities that were ahead. I took the advice of individuals who had gone before me when I ventured carefully into the world of social relationships. Online dating services created for those starting over after major life upheavals have emerged as a tentative entrance point into the contemporary dating scene. Although there were worries about scammers and potential hazards, I handled this new environment with caution. The path of resilience and self-discovery continued, with fresh realizations and a slow acceptance of the wounds from the past accompanying each day. This transitional phase was significantly shaped by the support system that had been with me through the highs and lows. Thinking back on this phase of my life, I am reminded of the resilience that may be developed in the face of difficulty. I've become a more resilient, self-aware, and understanding person as a result of the lessons I've learned in both my personal and professional life. Though there is still uncertainty in the future, hope and a sense of agency have returned. Though they could act as a reminder, the scars do not write the story of what is to come. I am resolved to create a route that includes growth, healing, and the pursuit of a meaningful existence as I venture into this unknown area. In the ongoing narrative of my life's reconstruction, the emphasis has turned to discovering meaning and fulfillment. I really engaged myself in the potential and challenges that the company's redesigned stock structure brought. Having friends and coworkers' support was essential to keeping things stable in the midst of all the upheavals. I welcomed the chance for personal development and self-discovery as I became comfortable in my new house. The area turned into a blank canvas on which I could paint my uniqueness and create a setting that reflected the person I was becoming. Furnishing and decorating a space became a healing undertaking, a way to let go of the past and start again. Making my way through the world of social media and possible love interests continued to be a slow and careful process. Connecting with people who understood the challenges of starting over in life was made possible by online communities catering to similar life stages. I handled these contacts with a cautious yet open-minded approach, even though I was still afraid of scams and dangers. Although the wounds from betrayal and divorce continued to be heavy, time allowed for reflection and acceptance. Over time, the emotional roller coaster transformed into a resilient and self-empowering adventure. The advice of those who had gone through comparable circumstances and the knowledge gleaned from them comforted me. The focus remained on health, with routine examinations acting as a reminder of the value of self-care. The importance of keeping a healthy lifestyle and placing a high priority on well-being was reaffirmed by the lessons acquired during the first health scare. The idea of a future full of opportunities and personal fulfillment became more real as the days stretched into weeks and months. Even though the scars still exist, they now serve as a symbol of the resilience created in the face of hardship. The foundation of encouragement and direction continued to be the support system, both personal and professional. Through this continuous journey, I've learned to value the human spirit's resiliency and ability to develop despite significant obstacles. My life story is still being written, molded by the decisions I've taken, the lessons I've learned, and the unflinching support of everyone who has shared in this life-changing experience. Going forward, the emphasis still lies in living in the now, developing deep relationships, and pursuing a life that is consistent with newly discovered viewpoints. Though there are unknowns ahead, the voyage itself bears witness to the ability for rebirth and the potential for happiness in unlikely locations. Resilience and a sense of empowerment emerged as guiding principles in my life as its chapters were written. From a professional standpoint, there were successes and challenges associated with the company's recalibration of its equity structure. It turned into an example of flexibility, demonstrating the team's strength and their unwavering dedication to the company's success. I reveled in the small pleasures of furnishing a room that represented my changing self as I embraced the seclusion of my new residence. Every corner carried the symbolic act of beginning again, signifying a break from the past and a celebration of individual freedom. Getting around in the world of social circles and possible love partners remained a careful balance between openness and prudence. Online communities that catered to people in comparable stages of life offered a helpful environment that encouraged the sharing of insightful ideas and experiences. Every conversation turned into a step toward realizing the possibility of happiness and friendship again. Though they were still there, the wounds from the betrayal and divorce no longer shaped my life's course. Time started to act as a healer, providing the viewpoint required to recognize the experience, the development, and the resilience that came from hardship. Regular checkups served as a reminder of the value of self-care, and health remained a cornerstone. Adhering to a healthy lifestyle has evolved from a necessity to a deliberate decision to invest in one's well-being. My life's scenery varied with the seasons. The idea of a fulfilling and opportunity-filled future drew closer to reality. My network of friends, family, and new acquaintances became my pillars of support, pushing me forth in this continuing journey. Every strand in the fabric of my life symbolized a lesson taken, an obstacle surmounted, and an instance of perseverance, of opportunities. The story developed step by step. The story kept developing as a result of the decisions made and the knowledge acquired from encounters that stretched the limits of resilience and strength. Looking ahead, the emphasis turned to living in the now, appreciating the complexity of life, and developing deep relationships. The unknown possibilities that awaited were no longer a source of fear, but rather exhilaration due to the uncertainty of the future. The scars became emblems of victory, and the echoes of the past became whispers on this path of self-discovery and rebirth. The blank canvas of life in front of me beckoned the writing of new chapters replete with tenacity, development, and the search for a genuine and meaningful life. Every day's rhythm played a song of self-discovery and rekindled meaning in the ongoing story of my life. Professionally, a collaborative and innovative spirit was employed to meet the problems posed by the recalibrated equity structure. The team's tenacity and their mutual dedication to the business's success served as the main engines for managing the changing environment. Inside my new house, a haven of independence and self-expression blossomed. Making my home a place that reflected my unique personality turned into a healing experience, bringing the past shadows into the present's vivid colors. Investigating relationships with people and possible love interests kept happening gradually. Online communities offered a helpful setting for interacting with people who shared similar experiences and were aware of the subtleties of beginning over. All conversations, private or public, contributed nuance to the unfolding story of rediscovery. Once severe wounds for betrayal and divorce started to lessen in importance in my life, time turned into a kind healer, providing perspective and clarity on the life-changing experience. The lessons learned served as compass points, forming a future driven by fortitude and a dedication to self-improvement. Health continued to be the main focus, and routine examinations acted as a reminder to give your health first priority. The dedication to a healthy lifestyle changed from being a requirement to being a deliberate decision, an investment in the vitality that keeps the trip going. The terrain of relationships shifted with the seasons. Friends, family, and recently made connections may comprise the support system. which remained a source of inspiration. The story of my life, as it developed, found meaning in the common experiences and accumulated knowledge of others who had traveled comparable routes. Anticipating the future, attention turned to appreciating the richness of the here and now. The future's uncertainties ceased to be causes for fear and instead presented chances for investigation. Life's canvas extended forward, beckoning the writing of fresh narratives that celebrate the human spirit and are genuine, joyful, and honest. The echoes of the past on this continuing journey no longer held the weight of regret, but instead served as the cornerstone of a future full of opportunities. The story developed step by step under the guidance of the knowledge acquired from negotiating the complex dance of life's challenges. The symphony of rediscovered purpose and self-discovery continued as the stories of my life unfolded. Professionally, a collaborative and innovative spirit was employed to meet the problems posed by the recalibrated equity structure. The team's tenacity and our mutual dedication to the business's success served as our main sources of motivation as we navigated the changing environment. Inside my new house, a haven of independence and self-expression blossomed. Making my home a place that reflected my unique personality turned into a healing experience, bringing the past shadows into the present's vivid colors. Investigating relationships with people and possible love interests kept happening gradually. Online communities offered a helpful setting for interacting with people who shared similar experiences and were aware of the subtleties of beginning over. All conversations, private or public, contributed nuance to the unfolding story of rediscovery. Once severe wounds from betrayal and divorce started to lessen in importance in my life, time turned into a kind healer, providing perspective and clarity on a life-changing experience. The lessons learned served as compass points, forming a future driven by fortitude and a dedication to self-improvement. Health continued to be the main focus, and routine examinations acted as a reminder to give your health first priority. The dedication to a healthy lifestyle changed from being a requirement to being a deliberate decision, an investment in the vitality that keeps the trip going. The terrain of relationships shifted with the seasons. Friends, family, and recently made connections comprise the support system, which remained a source of inspiration. The story of my life, as it developed, found meaning in the common experiences and accumulated knowledge of others who had traveled comparable routes. Anticipating the future, attention turned to appreciating the richness of the here and now. The future's uncertainties ceased to be causes for fear and instead presented chances for investigation. Life's canvas extended forward, beckoning the writing of fresh narratives that celebrate the human spirit and are genuine, joyful, and honest. The echoes of the past on this continuing journey no longer held the weight of regret, but instead served as the cornerstone of a future full guidance of the knowledge acquired from negotiating the complex dance of life's challenges.